Well, as a PK, obviously, I have to tell you I'm already guilty. Guilty of many things, I suppose, but it took me a while to get here. Indiana wants me, and Lord, I don't want to go back there. I just finished my undergrad work at Indiana University of Indiana. You always have to say in Pennsylvania. And I just wanted to get back out of there. My dad, the minister, had the last year, what a nightmare year, had 12 shock treatments for his depression, which is probably endogenous, but magnified by being about my age at the Battle of the Bulge. His identical twin didn't have depression, but that's part of my inheritance. And then that summer, my girlfriend's mom discovered her birth control pills. I'm guilty. And she's from Wattsburg, Kentucky, so she wasn't happy about this. And Shannon asked me to come to Martha's Vineyard with her, but I was already working on my senior thesis on depression. And she met Tom on Martha's Vineyard, who was a high school dropout, who she ended up making leather work for the stars in rural Connecticut. Good for her. And then there was my senior thesis on depression, which thank God I'd finished. But while all my friends were presenting papers at conferences and applying to graduate school, I just wanted out. I just wanted to get out of there. I had about a month of my lease to run out, so I'm just stewing in my juices. But my canvas is blank when magic bus. A friend that'd been in Germany for a couple of years comes back, buys a VW bus, and decides to go west. Can you imagine how that felt? I was going, of course. He was going to Raffle, Colorado, where he thought there'd be some work. So I got to visit my friend Chris Toll, who lived in Glenwood Springs in a trailer, dropped out of college, wanted to start a commune, and was going to earn some money by going to welding school and then going up to Prudhoe Bay and making a lot of money. Meantime, he was working at a mine, night shift in Colorado, and arrived every morning with black mascara on his eyes and black on his fingernails. Plus, he'd work with the hippies to set up a hot spring that the cowboys had dynamited, so there was about to be a big bar fight. And of course, anywhere west of Conroe, bar fights are inside, so there'd be people hurt, so I left. Went to Boulder, where my friend Chris Manojlovic was, studying Buddhism at Naropa, and working on concrete, surrealist haiku, whatever. And I ended up taking over his room at Cloud 9 Co-op. But it was on the roof of Cloud 9 Co-op, seeing a rainstorm over the plains. You ever seen chain lightning over the plains? Over like 100 miles. One of the most awesome things I'd ever seen. Studying Buddhism wasn't it either. So my friend got his bus and headed back up to California. He was going to visit his aunt who was in theater at Palo Alto. So I went again. Hung out in Palo Alto, didn't really feel like I belonged, bought some more books from the Stanford bookstore, and then hitchhiked 12 hours down to where my aunt lived in Pacific Palisades. She didn't know I was coming. I thought she might be in Hawaii. I'm waiting by the phone booth. We didn't have cell phones then. And a guy in a truck drives up, old 49 pickup, and wants me to come to his surfers party and he'll put me up. So cool. Toss my backpack and my day bag and my hard-sided briefcase full of books into the back of his truck. So much for the blank canvas. We all have baggage, don't we? So I ended up working for a bookstore across from UCLA, taking a course there. And despite Topanga and Zuma and Malibu, and driving back there with my friend Jeff, and he actually picked up girls on Coast Highway by pulling up next to their car and having them follow them to his house. On the way back to his house, he just says, when we get in there, get naked. We got to his house, I just walked away. I was working at the bookstore, got back to studying for my GREs again, took them, and a year later was starting graduate school in psychology. Got my doctorate in 1980, 40 years ago. I retired early. I'm now a stay-at-home dad, and believe me, it's a much scarier blank canvas now.